the TBR. She is a cruel, cruel mistress. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today we've got another Vote on My TBR video, but before we get into that video, please make sure you are liking and subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. Also, at the end of the video, I will be announcing a giveaway, so that is always super exciting. Now guys, as we all know, FOMO is a real thing, and TBRs just get out of control. You hear about an older series that people have loved for years and years and years. And so, like me, you go and buy that series in its entirety if you're me. And then they just languish there on your shelves. Well, recently I have wrapped up The Realm of the Elderlings, The Dark Tower, and a few other big series that have been taking up a lot of space. And now I've got a lot of free time. Well, I say a lot of free time. I've got free time-ish. To start something new, well, I say new, I mean old. Most of these, if not all of them, are backlist fantasy, and a lot of them are mass market paperbacks. And I really want to know if I like these, because I need to try them, because if I don't like them, I need to get them out of my collection, so then I can free up shelf space, because shelf space is at a premium, guys. Now, here's what we're going to do. Basically, you guys get to vote on which of these I start next. And the way you're going to do that is basically you can do a tiered list in the comments down below. You can just give me your number one pick of which one you want me to read. There is a lot here to choose from, so I don't know how this is going to go. If it ends up being a tie, I'm going to throw that to my patrons, and they will be the final decider, or the tiebreaker, I guess I should say. I don't know why I said final decider. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble at this point, so let's get into it. So starting off, we have got C.S. Friedman's. This is Coldfire. Black Sun Rising is the book one. Now, I picked this up because my buddy Narsil absolutely ranted and raved about this last year. He's the one who put it on my radar, and he's one of the moderators in the Wizardly Duo Discord, which you can find the link in the description down below. And guys, I hear this is like the 80s or 90s style of sci-fantasy, so it's got sci-fi elements, but it's more of a fantasy story with sci-fi elements. But I've also heard that it's a darker tale. I've never tried C.S. Friedman. I bought this purely off of a recommendation. So this is the first one that you can vote for. If you've read this, please let me know. All right. Next up is one that I got this because the author passed. But I also had the first book as a teenager, and I unhauled it. I used to do a lot of unhauls when I was a kid. I wasn't as much of a collector. And that is David Farland's The Rune Lords. And I don't know a whole lot about the Rune Lords, other than the fact that the author, David Farland, used to run writing classes. So, he would teach people the art of writing. And, he was supposed to be this powerhouse in the writing community. And he put out, I think, 8 of the Rune Lord books. And I bought 7 of them. So I now have 7 of these sitting on my shelf, and I've never read it. And can we just talk about, I think this is a Michael Whalen cover, by the way. And I think this is a Darrell K. Sweet. And so we've got, right there on the back, Darrell K. Sweet. These are some of my favorite classic book cover artists. And guys, it's just fantasy AF. I love it. Of course, I like Felix Ortiz and all of, the new guys. But, the old guys, they still got it. They still got it. Now this one, I don't remember why I bought this. I believe somebody in a comment recommended this to me and said, hey, you'll probably like this. And I'm going to butcher the name. This is Luck in the Shadows by Lynn Flewelling. I think I've said that right for once, and I had to actually slow down to pronunciate the name. This is, I think, assassin fantasy. One of the progenitors of what became assassin fantasy and everything like that. It's got an actually really beautiful cover. Let's get in on that, because there's a whole bunch of detail I just noticed back here. So, he's in focus. But, man, back there is some stuff going on. There's people on horses. There's what looks like a wraith. Well, they look wraith-like, but, man, that is cool. I just noticed that detail. This is book 1 in the Night Runner series. I think the Night Runner series, it's 7 books long, and I've only got the first 2. luckily I was able to hold myself back from just buying everything for once, and I just went with this. But basically, the young Alec of Carey is taken prison for a crime he didn't commit. Okay, so it sounds like wrongful imprisonment. Anyway, yeah, I don't know a whole lot of people who have read this, or if they have read it, they don't talk about it, but I would like to know if I'm going to like this. So please, if you want to vote for this one, vote for that one. Alright, next up, this is my patron, Owen, from Owen Edwards. I'll link his channel down below if you want to check him out. He actually did a Why You Should Read on this series, and I've grabbed the wrong book. I meant to grab The Curse of Shalian, but instead I've grabbed The Hollow Hunt, which is fine. This is Louise McMaster Bejeweled. She's an award-winning author in both fantasy and sci-fi. She's got this really long-running sci-fi, I think it's fantasy series that, like, I want to check out. Like, I want to check out Louise McMaster Bejeweled. It's never something that I immediately reach for. And so, I've got 3 of the books. I think I've got Curse of Shalian, Hollow Hunt, and whatever Paladin of Souls, I believe, is the 3rd one. So I've got all 3 of them sitting upstairs on my shelf, and I'm just constantly walking by them. So the whole point of this video, I must reiterate, is to get me to read something that's just gonna sit on my shelf and languish for a long time, and I need your guys' help. Alright, next up, this also came on my radar, I believe, because I think this one came on my radar because of Terry. Australian Terry. You know who you are. And that's The Baker's Boys by J.V. Jones. Narshall also talks about this one, but I believe Terry's the one who initially posted a picture of this, and I was like, oh, what is that? Now, this may sound like, oh, it's about a baker in a castle. This book starts out, like, I've peeked at the first couple pages. This is surprisingly dark fantasy. And it's really interesting because J.V. Jones has her Cavern series that she has been working on for a long time, and she's recently returned to writing, and she's trying to finish that one out. She's, kind of been lumped up with that crew of Patrick Rothfuss and, Scott Lynch, who Scott Lynch is now writing too, and George R.R. Martin, just not working on their series, and she's finally back to writing. So I'm super excited to someday read this. Maybe soon, if you guys vote for this one. But yeah, so this is really dark fantasy. Like, I think someone gets, like, disemboweled in, like, the first chapter. It's wild. Alright, I can entirely lay this at the feet of my buddy Bryce from Shelf Centered. Fantastic channel. I'll link him down below as well. And he was talking about, and again, I've done it again. I've grabbed the 3rd book. The first book that we're voting on, I believe, is Jackal of Nar. And for some reason, I grabbed The Saints of the Sword. But this is by John Marco. This is military fantasy that literally he just held it up and said, I love this. And I was like, okay. And I went and purchased it. I know nothing other than the fact that it's military fantasy because I am a reactionary book purchaser and I must be stopped. Please, save me. Save me. And I bought this series for a buddy read that just never materialized. It was going to happen and then it didn't happen. And now I have all 7 books. My buddy Bookish Chaz, my buddy Alan from the Library of Alexandria, both love this series. And that's Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman's The Death Gate Cycles, starting with Dragonwing. I actually picked up the first and correct book for once. And this one, I've read Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman's Dragonlance. I've read like 10 or 11 books by them. And they haven't aged the best. And so when I didn't enjoy my reread of the initial 3 Dragonlance books, I kind of got scared to jump into this. Now, I've heard it's a completely different tone. This isn't based off a D&D campaign. This is just them writing. And this is one I'm really excited to try because I hear constantly good things about it from Chaz and from Alan. Like, Alan talked about this in, like, one of his top 10, like, fantasy protagonists or something like that. And, like, this made the cut. And so I'm excited about it, but I just never quite seem to fit it into a TBR. And so, yeah, maybe this one will win. Maybe. Who knows? Now, this is an older one. And I got this one mainly because I just heard good things about it. This is one of those, like, I heard buzz on BookTube and I purchased the book. And now I'm just sitting here looking at it, constantly walking by going, oh yeah, I'll read that someday. Andrew buys too many books. We all know this. This is Melanie Ron's The Dragon Prince trilogy. And I know that there's a follow-up, Dragon Star trilogy. But basically, I kind of just saw these in my half-price books. And every time I saw them in my half-price books, now I bought these trade paperbacks off of Amazon because of the story I'm about to tell. I saw these in my half-price books. Every time I saw them in my half-price books, they were mass market paperback. And they were always destroyed. Like, they're well-read, well-loved books, just based off of what I saw in a used bookstore. Like, the spines are always obliterated. I don't know if that was because the books weren't well made, or if they were just constantly read and read and read and read. But I've never seen good, clean copies of this in mass market paperback. So I take that as a good sign that this is great classic fantasy, and I went and ordered the whole trilogy in trade paperback. And I need to not do that. But yeah, I don't know anything about this. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this. Because I know I've talked about it on my channel before. And people were like, oh yeah, it's so good, it's so good. Well, now I need people to put their votes forward to get me to read one of these series. And then finally, we've got Lord Fowl's Bane, Book 1 in the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever. This is, of course, by Stephen R. Donaldson. And I know that this is a dark tale. I know it's a controversial book. I know it's got purple prose. I know it's dense. I'm aware of all of that, and that's part of the reason why it's just been sitting and languishing on my shelf. This is my second copy that I had of these. I used to have hardcovers. I gifted those to Nico, and now he sent me his editions, which these are really cool. I really like these editions. And yeah, I know this is a portal fantasy about a guy with leprosy. And then, like, he doesn't believe that the portal fantasy is real, so he does a whole bunch of stuff in the fantasy, horrible stuff in the fantasy world. But, like, it's, I think, a 9-book series crossing 3 trilogies? Yeah. Can I do math? Yeah, 3 trilogies. So I'm just kind of curious about this one. All right, so that's everything that you can vote for. Now, I did promise to do a book giveaway. And so I was sent these by this author to do a giveaway, and I am very excited to do this because this is from a book. I've read book 1 and I have book 2 to read here soon. In fact, it'll probably be on the TBR come September, or MBR, I should say. MBR. I need to get used to saying MBR, guys. And that is going to be The Grim Hunt, book 1 and book 2 by Ryan G. Beatty. These are currently in, well, this one was currently in Spiff Bow 8. And I really enjoyed this book. These are the paperback editions that I am doing a US giveaway here for. Now, please make sure if you are entering into this giveaway to get this series that you are in the US, because international shipping is killer. I recently tried to ship something to Canada, and the shipping was outrageous. So this is a US only giveaway, unfortunately. However, these are books that, if you like the Witcher video games, these are probably up your alley. You've got some very overpowered monster hunters. It's a lot of fun. They fight monsters. They topple, dynasties and kingdoms, and they hunt monsters. I just love these. I do have a dedicated video for this coming out here soon. You can look forward to that. Guys, I cannot wait to send these to somebody to discover these fantastic reads. This is book 1 and book 2 of a planned 5. And guys, the way you're going to enter into this giveaway is you're just going to leave in the comments down below, attached with your vote, the book stack emoji. You know, that red, I believe it's like a red, blue, and green of 3 books that are just kind of stacked on top of each other. Leave that in your comment, and then you will be entered into the giveaway. And these are gorgeous covers. And one thing the author did tell me is he likes writing Crown of Madness. He told me Binding of Souls book 2 was 1,000 times better because he's grown as a writer. Now, I can't confirm that statement, but that is from the author's own words. So yes, you can enter into this video to win these 2 books. All right, that said, guys, that is all I have here for you. Please make your voices heard and vote in the comments down below. I need to start cleaning up my TBR because it is getting out of control with just series that I've heard are good and I've gone and rush purchased. So please, let me know in the comments down below what your vote is. And as always, guys, make sure you are liking, commenting, and subscribing, hitting that Patreon if you want to support what I do here. And as always, till next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.